Hello and welcome to Sim Radio here on the Sisters in Music Network. It's Monday Music Madness, and you're tuned in to Mixin' It with Nicki Kris. This is Nicki, and in case you don't know anything about me, I'm a singer-songwriter from Raleigh, North Carolina. My show celebrates women in the music and entertainment industry, providing an avenue for them to showcase their talents. Our motto, Sisters in Music, together we are stronger. My guest today is a recording artist and songwriter from Ontario, Canada, who's been busy putting her own groove in country music. Influenced by both classic and contemporary roots artists, her music includes meaningful lyrics complemented by fun, catchy melodies. Her latest single, Dance Around It, is a fun, upbeat tune which won a Josie Music Weekly Recognition Award 1 week after its release and was added to Sirius XM Radio in November of 2020. And it hit #1 on the Canadian Indie Country Countdown on January 23rd, 2021. I'm so excited to have her on my show. So please join me in welcoming the super, super talented Hayley Verrall. Hayley, welcome to Mixin' It.
Hey, Nicki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Wow, I'm like reading through all your accomplishments, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. That's so awesome.
Well, thank you.
You, in my opinion, are a country music superstar in the making. At least, that's my gut. And I said, so excited to have you on the show. And during your bio, I mentioned that you get inspiration from both classic and contemporary roots art. Can you tell us who your biggest influences are?
So right now, my biggest influences are Miss Dolly Parton. I know what she's been doing so far, definitely in 2020 and 2021. And what she's been doing has been so inspiring to me, as well as other artists like Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash. Then newer artists today like the Reclaws, Megan Patrick, Maren Morris, Ashley McBride. I have so many influences in this world, but the biggest one is definitely Miss Dolly Parton.
She is a country music icon. I've actually seen her in person. She just emits music royalty. So she's definitely a fantastic influence and role model to look up to. And she's like very down to earth too, which is really, really cool. And I think that's
why I like.
Yeah.
I saw her perform live once in Canada. She was at the Molson Canadian Amphitheater, and just seeing the expression, the emotion, how truthful she was on stage. That's why she's one of my biggest influences, just seeing how down-to-earth she is and humble.
So obviously you like Dolly Parton. You mentioned Patsy Cline. I'm a Patsy Cline fan myself, actually. I love all of her music. But is there anyone in particular that you think that you sound like?
People say I sound like female Johnny Cash when I first started. And then we get this Ashley McBride, Maren Morris kind of vibe now.
That's so funny. I actually, going back to my childhood, but I actually was on an airplane with Johnny Cash once, many moons ago. My claim to fame, he was on a flight with his son, and we recognized him immediately. Obviously, his big black hat. So I can definitely see the Johnny Cash influence. I was also thinking that you sounded Maren Morris, maybe, but I got a little bit, I know that you tend to, at least from me, from what I picked up from listening to your songs, I got some pop influence, which you may not be meaning to do that, but I did get some pop influence, and it's a little bit funny because the fact that you actually are very influenced by her godmother, I believe it is. So I get a little Miley Cyrus from you. I know she's more like pop rock, but I also got that vibe.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I do listen to a lot of pop music as well. One of my favorite artists, I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of him, but there's also billions of people that are big fans of him, is Justin Bieber. I like his songs and the lyrics that he puts in them.
So he's been growing on me. I have never was a huge fan, but his latest music has actually been growing on me. I think, maybe he's kind of grown up a little bit. And now
Yeah.
I actually enjoy
Ever
listening
since
to
his,
him.
yeah, ever since his Purpose album. So I wasn't too big of a fan when his music first came out, but when his Purpose album came out, and after that, I really enjoyed the lyrics and the meaning that he put behind his songs.
Awesome. Yeah, he's definitely pop. Definitely pop. So why don't you take us through your songwriting process? Because I do know that you are a very talented songwriter. So would you mind taking us through your process?
I would love to. So the first things first that I like to enjoy to do, we all have a phone. What I do is I sit either when I'm asleep or I'm sitting at my desk working on other things, practicing music. I keep my phone on me and my notebook. And whenever I think of maybe a theme or an idea or just a line or a word, I write it down. I've written so many songs based off of just one word, just thinking love. I like about love. What could I write about it? Or when I wrote my song Social Distancing or Summer Vibes, I just sat there and wrote down a theme, a name. And then what I do is I take that theme, that name, and I start playing the guitar and just thinking, does this work? Does this vibe? Is this catchy? And once I find a riff or a chorus kind of feel that works, I start writing lyrics. And I start with a chorus, finding that catchy thing that everyone's going to sing back to. Then I start working on the verses and trying to tell that story.
Do you follow that same process every single time?
Not all the time. Sometimes the verses come to me first, then the chorus. But most of the time, the chorus comes to me first.
Wow, this is one of my favorite things of interviewing other songwriters. And I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask all of them too. I mean, so it sounds like you have a very structured songwriting process, which is actually very different from me because I'm a binge writer and I may go months without writing anything and then don't.
Well, yeah, that's the same. That's the same for me.
You do that too?
You always get that writer's block, right?
I wouldn't even call it, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call it block. I don't know, I kind of wait until things start like building up and then, it's almost like turn the faucet on and all of a sudden you got like 10 songs. So, I mean, but one of the questions that I ask everyone is, do you have any songwriting tips you'd like to share? Because that is important. Everybody likes to get new tips and tricks and things like that. So I'd be interested to hear if you did have any tips that you would like to share with anyone.
I would love to. This is what I was told. This is kind of tips and tricks and advice I was given was write everything you think about down because more than likely you won't think of those ideas ever again. So make sure you're always writing them down and listen to tons of music because tons of music can help spark your creative process.
Great tips. And I do voice memos. I carry my phone around if I think of something like, oh yeah, voice memo that. So awesome. Great. 2 great tips. All right. I would like to talk about some of your music because it is absolutely fabulous. Love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Yes, no, I do. And I was out on your website. I was checking out all your stuff that you had out there. What do you feel is the best song you've ever released and why?
So right now, I think the best song I've ever released definitely has to be Dance Around It. Now, this song is amazing. It's gone so far. It got added on to Sirius XM and it won a Josie Music Weekly Recognition Award. So having that, none of my songs before that I released have ever reached that point. This is a song I'm most proud of right now.
It's awesome. Massive, massive congratulations on both of those accomplishments because they are huge. I mean, I've won a Josie Music Award myself, and I love both Tina and Josie very, very much. They're fantastic. But getting on Sirius XM is huge because it's not easy. I know that a lot of people aspire to that, and that's significant. So massive, massive congratulations that you've been able to accomplish that. Very, very cool. So how about then we just pop in, dance around it, and I'm sure that everyone is going to be up and moving around and tapping their feet because that's what I was doing. So let's play "Dance Around It" by Hayley Verrall.
Probably the drinks I've been sipping on all night. But there's something in the way you've been looking at me that we both can't deny. Ain't just nothing, there's something buzzing between us, and it won't end at closing time. We found love, dancing in the dark, caught the kind of buzz you can't find at the bar. We can reach this floor, wanna get to know every part of who you are. We're looking for this feeling, but we found it, and we don't gotta dance around it. We don't gotta dance around it. Maybe there's a reason that we both wound up here. Probably just the thought of an ice cold beer. But it became something that ain't just gonna disappear. I've never felt nothing like being so high and seeing so clear. We found love, dancing in the dark, caught the kind of buzz you can't find at the bar. We can reach this floor, wanna get to know every part of who you are. We're looking for this feeling, but we found it, and we don't gotta dance around it. Boy, don't get me wrong, I love the way you move, but I can't help but want to know every little thing about you. We found love, dancing in the dark, caught the kind of buzz you can't find at the bar. We can reach this floor, wanna get to know every part of who you are. We're looking for this feeling, but we found it, and we don't gotta dance around it. We don't gotta dance around it. We don't gotta dance around it. We don't gotta dance around it.
Like I said, I love that song, and I'm a very, very picky country music listener, and your song is right in my like pocket. There's some people that I actually can't listen to. I just don't. I get very disinterested very, very quickly, and there's other country artists where I just can listen to them for hours or have seen them in concert, and they've just completely blown my mind. You, I think, definitely would be one of those people that I would go see in concert, and I would just be sitting there going, OMG. So fantastic song. Really, really great. I would like to dig into a little bit more into you and who you are. What do you enjoy most about being a musician?
What I enjoy most about being a musician, I love the impact and the inspiration I put on people. I have this program that I do called Singing for Smiles, where I go around to different retirement homes and nursing homes and just seeing when I sing that old country classic music, seeing the smiles on their faces and seeing the joy I put in their life just makes me want to continue to do my craft so much more.
I'm glad that you brought that up because that was one of the things that I wanted to ask you about was the Singing for Smiles program, because you do have that on your website. And I think it's such a humbling and motivating program that you have. Very inspiring. Very inspiring. And do you find often You're welcome. Do you find often that the residents actually do sing with you? Because one of the videos that you had on your website, they were singing along. Do you find that they do that a lot?
Oh yeah, they always sing along. I've had residents walk up to me, try and sing in a microphone with me, try and give me candy that they had.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
I love it.
Oh, that's great. Is there someone in particular that you would like to collaborate with next, and why?
Well, definitely my biggest influence, Miss Dolly Parton. And I want to collaborate with her as soon as possible because I know she's getting older and things like that, and I don't want to wait. I want to make sure I get an opportunity to meet with her and write with her because that would be something so inspiring to me before she's gone and before her music becomes legendary.
Have you tried to reach out to her at all, or her management team?
I think when I was younger, we sent her because at the Grand Ole Opry, you can send letters and they put it in their mailboxes. All the members that have been inducted into the Grand Ole Opry.
You should try that again.
Yeah,
we'll
I'm going
tag her. I'm going to tag her. I'm going to tag her in one of the posts that we do. I will say, Dolly, you need to check out Hayley. You're
That's
her
amazing.
biggest inspiration. I will. I think Dolly Parton is an awesome choice for you to collaborate with, and I certainly would love to hear how that one would turn out, and I think it would be fabulous. So obviously,
I can't wait for that day.
Yes. Being in the music business can be a hard road. What's the biggest problem you've had to overcome so far?
The biggest problem in the music industry I've had to overcome so far was definitely when I made my first releases, getting turned down, all those no's. I've met a lot of people, and there's a few people that definitely were trying to take advantage, and it was hard. But eventually, I understood and I learned more about the music industry and knowing that you just got to keep moving, you got to keep going, and just move on from those people that are trying to take advantage or tear you down, because you are the only person that knows you and nobody else.
Agree 110%. And I think a lot of us have gone down that road, especially when you're starting out and you're not quite sure. You do get a lot of no's, but you also get a lot of individuals who know that you don't know the business and who do try and take advantage, unfortunately. I run across them even today, and a lot of times they don't realize I've been around a while, so, I can pick them out, and I'm sure you can too. But it's actually unfortunate because a lot of times artists give up because regardless of how good the music is or regardless of how passionate they are, you are going to get a no. You're going to get a no, and you're also going to get individuals that will try and either, take advantage of you, unfortunately, or try and leverage you in a way that you're not being true to yourself. So I definitely am inspired by the fact that you do try and stay true to yourself, and I've gotten that from some of the things that I've read about you as well, and I think that that's very important to do that.
Yep, I have notes written in my phone that I'm always going to remain humble and down to earth because that's who I am as a person.
Oh, that's fantastic! Wonderful advice to live by. So that's a good place to pause and take a short break. Hear from a word from one of our partners in podcasting, singer-songwriter Grace Garland. We'll be right back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris here on Sim Radio.
Hi, this is Grace Garland, and you're listening to Mixing It with Nicki Kris on the SIM Radio Network. Check out my new single, New York Attitude, now on Spotify. Sisters in music. Together, we are stronger.
And we're back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris on the Sim Radio Network. And my guest, the very talented Hayley Verrall. Before we get to the second song that you brought to share with us, I know at least prior to COVID-19, you did a lot of performances. For you, what has been the most exciting show you've performed at so far?
The most exciting show I performed at so far. There's been many that I performed at, but I have to say, Burlington's largest rib fest was definitely one of the craziest and exciting things for me. That was amazing. Just being one of the thousands to go on one of those stages and be accepted and put together my band, work on that music, getting it all ready for the stage, and just being and singing in front of so many people, and also learning about the industry. I got a funny story about it that I don't want to share anymore because it was bad. It was a little bit of a bad experience, not from the Rib Fest itself, but just behind the scenes.
Oh no! Now you brought it up. You're gonna have to share it.
Oh no! Just a weird, crazy cameraman that wanted to come work with us and take some photos, and he wanted more than photos.
Oh no! See, there's the take advantage part. But I'm actually glad that you mentioned that because it is tough, and those are some of the things that, especially women, have to deal with. I've never heard of a male, and I am gonna tag it as male, female. I've never heard of somebody feeling offended or uncomfortable, and being a guy. And those are some of the things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not going to say especially in the music industry, but I will actually say, to some extent, it might be a little bit more prevalent in the music industry. I know that there's a lot of work that's been going on with the Me Too movement and awareness, but it's still there and it hasn't stopped. And I think speaking out and saying things like you just did, saying, this happened, I think it's important because it raises more awareness. So thank you for sharing that.
Hey, no problem. I don't like talking too much about it just because it was weird, but it was definitely something that, you have good people around you because people did notice it and were keeping him away, and it was good. And that didn't stop me from putting on a really good show at Burlington's largest Rib Fest. It was really good, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed putting my music out there in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Incredible. Good for you. So obviously COVID, nobody's performing right now. Are you doing any live streams?
So yeah, I was. I think once a week I was doing live streams. I was updating my social media. But now I'm focusing on trying to get back into my Singing for Smiles and doing virtual live shows until the cold weather decides to subside so I can stand outside at the windows and do my show from there. But I'm also working on doing live shows. So I have one coming up on Thursday with Dave Woods, In the Country with Dave Woods, which is a songwriter circle with other country musicians.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Is that going to be streamed?
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Oh, cool. Awesome. We will have to check that out.
Awesome.
Great.
I can't wait.
Let's chat about Like You Mean It, because I love this song, too. What was
you
it
like
inspired
You Mean It?
by? Yes, Like You Mean It. What was it inspired by?
That is inspired by a few years ago. Or 2 years ago. It was inspired by, I'm seeing on Facebook, seeing my friends just not being treated right. And it can go both ways for men and women. But guys, you got to love your woman like you mean it. So it was just talking about that, about respecting your woman.
No,
because everyone deserves respect.
Yes, everyone does deserve respect. And, it's certainly a very, very catchy tune. You are an extremely talented songwriter, and I have no doubt that you're not going to go far. So let's pop this one in for our listeners to check out. Here is Like You Mean It by Hayley Verrall.
You say we're together, we will weather the storm. That doesn't make me feel better when you're not there. keep me warm. We've been together for years. Now something else is on your mind. How can that be true when you're home past midnight? You gotta love me like you mean it. You gotta show me this is real. I'm all torn up and broken down. I gotta open up to heal. Gotta love me like you mean it. You gotta show me that you care. Your words don't mean enough when you're never there to love me like you mean it. You say you're in this forever. You don't understand my pain. You think just words can make it better. You can't see my heart break. You gotta love me like you mean it. You gotta show me this is real. I'm all torn up and broken down. I gotta open up to heal. You gotta love me like you mean it. You gotta show me that you care. Your words don't mean enough when you're never there to love me like you mean it. So now you've lost your chance. My heart is set free. I'm moving on so you won't see what you meant to me. You gotta love me like you mean it. You gotta show me this is real. I'm all torn up and broken down. This isn't how I should feel. Gotta love you like you mean it. You gotta love me like you mean it. You gotta love me like you mean it.
Love it. See, I'm going to be downloading all your stuff, checking you out on Spotify. Like I said, your music hits in my country music like pocket, so I'm all excited.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Before we sign off, I wanted to ask you, how do you think your music contributes to your community? Obviously, I know you do the Singing for Smiles, but is there anything else?
Well, I know my hometown, Burlington, has definitely given me so many opportunities because of my music and because of my passion for it. But I'm very thankful that my hometown, like the Burlington Performing Arts Center, the Burlington Sound of Music, they've been giving me just so many opportunities, and I'm really appreciative of that. And I keep writing songs that are memorable to Burlington and myself, and also Singing for Smiles, where I'm going to nursing homes and retirement homes and just bringing celebration to the elderly's life.
What is next for Hayley?
What is next? Next is to continue to songwrite. Hopefully, my end goal, a really neat idea that I've always, when I first stepped on that Grand Ole Opry stage on that circle and got my picture taken, when I went on the backstage tour, my final goal is to sing on that Grand Ole Opry stage on that circle where all those amazing, inspiring songwriters and artists have sung before.
That is a very good goal to have. I have been in that same spot and definitely know the feeling that you're talking about.
But right now, I just got to songwrite.
Yeah.
And put more music out there.
More music. Keep it going. That's all that you got to do. Stick with your passion.
Exactly.
Anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we sign off? How about where they can find you on social media?
So if you want to find me on social media, I'm all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you can find me, especially Reverb Nation, at Hayley Verrall Music. I also have songs out on YouTube and all streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and anything else you can find music on.
Awesome. I would like to thank my wonderful guest, Hayley Verrall, for taking the time to chat with me today. It's really been a wonderful pleasure. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in for Mixing It. On behalf of everyone at Sim Radio, this is Nicki Kris. Until next time, keep on mixing it.